it up a bit. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me just send this text. What's up, Robbie? Hang on, let me close my door. Whoops, daisy. All right, I think you can hear me. Let me hop on. Of course, I closed Discord because I'm an idiot. Okay, let me call the gentleman in. Our same guest from last time. We kind of got caught up on one of the topics from last time about single parent, 2-family homes. So we're going to be talking about something different today. Or I could just probably call him. I don't know why. Hopefully the things will work. If Discord isn't going to be a meanie butt. Hello? Hey, perfect. Oh, hang on. Hello?
Yes.
Perfect.
You hear me?
Yes. Just want to make sure I had the desktop audio muted in OBS, but we are good, it looks like. Let me just bump mine up. Testing. Okay, perfect. I think we're good then. All right, how are you?
Let me know if you can hear me properly, or my mic is a little bit.
No. Oh no, you're fine. It's It's always, for some reason, I don't know why, when I go through OBS, my mic audio is always kind of a little bit low, so I have to kind of bump up the gain. Whereas the guess is always good. I don't know why. Oh, actually, you know what I could do is this. Haha, that's probably going to sound a lot better. Okay. Hello. Yes, thank you for joining us again. I know last time we kind of got caught up with the 2-parent, single parent. Yes. Because I remember your original email, you listed a bunch of stuff, and we kind of got caught up on that. So, but you sent me some other stuff. So I have about an hour and a half. So we have not as long as last time, but decent amount of time. You sent me a couple of topics, and you mentioned Tinder. Or probably dating apps in general, which I think would be very interesting because it probably is relevant for a lot of people listening and a lot of younger dudes, particularly people in the dating market today. So you mentioned
it's kind of ubiquitous, and we thought that we could get away with just going our own way or doing something else, but it became just like streaming. It's so universal, so overpowered that no other strategy basically can compete right now. Or well, it can, but not the same way.
So what would you say is? I think you mentioned the more major, more controversial red pill topics. What is it about Tinder? Like, what is your view on it, or do you think it's like dating apps, online dating? Do you think it's a positive, negative? Do you think it's caused harm? Do you think it's what are your views on it in general?
Yes, for me, Tinder and all other dating apps are a result of modernity, and as a result of the postmodern mindset, I think they're really damaging, and we didn't knew what we were doing, or the people that found it originally thought that it was going to connect people, and it's actually a paradox. I think it is actually distance people. This made relationships commodified, depersonal, highly utilitarian in that sense. It's not people trying to connect. It's basically like buying a product for like a catalog, and it's really, I think it's, to most people, I think it's been a worse experience. I think that the only people that do good in apps are basically people that already did good in real life. So didn't help connect a lot of people, and you get to the other users, women, who for them it's just like I think it would call it just an attention grabbing app, It's basically a higher form of Instagram. And then for bottom dwelling, let's just say the beta or the less capable man is a hellscape. It is Dante's Inferno. It is no hope, losses. All hope is lost starting from here. If you're a lower man, if you ever use Tinder, you know how distorted, how empty, how meaningless it becomes after a while. So I think that generally dating apps are it for me bad, or for everybody at least. I think for women and for men, it only helps promiscuous men to get everything basically.
Okay. Well, I mean, for speaking for myself, I didn't do too well. I wouldn't say I did all that well when it came to dating in general before I started like using the apps. And personally, the apps, I was very successful on them. I got a lot of dates, a lot of hookups, a lot of girls I dated, and my girlfriend of 6 years this April, we met on Bumble. However, I think the difference there is that I don't really think I do have my critiques of the structure of dating apps, particularly Tinder. Obviously, I've been off the apps for the last 6 years,
Yeah.
but from what I've heard, they've there are some sort of like weird algorithm stuff. So, for example, if a dude, you know, a lot of dudes would joke about like, oh, I just swipe right on everybody. Apparently, that actually, at least to what I understand, that actually can be bad for you because it kind of makes you either look like a bot, or it makes you seem like, because you're probably getting so few matches compared to how many you're swiping, it makes you look like your profile isn't very attractive to most people, and so the algorithm isn't going to bump you up. Which I don't. On one hand, I'm like, I don't necessarily have
you got like a shadow ban basically.
Yeah,
like
which to some extent I don't really know if I don't know if I'm for or against it. I'm kind of like, it's like, well, is it unfair for those guys? It's like, well, I mean, the issue is that they weren't very attractive to begin with, so it's not like even if they weren't, would it make that much of a difference. However, then the issue becomes, from what I understand, because this was a bit when I was on it, but it kind of was in its infancy, was like the sort of like pay for play sort of thing, where it's like, you know, hey, like 85 people have liked you, like pay $5 and you can see. But then it kind of turns out that's bullshit. So that's an issue where I am not okay with it. Yeah.
It's even worse now than it used to be. It's now that you have to pay not only to see who you're matching with, it's that you need to pay to actually send messages, or I think more than 5 messages or something. It's like the conversation gets locked after like the first hello, how you doing, and then you need to pay in order to keep talking.
Oh, that's silly.
So no, it's really predatory. I will say it is basically like those gacha games, but with dopamine and people trying to get in touch with other people, and they just get hooked on these apps, and they spend a lot of money. And with this economy, I wouldn't recommend any man to spend money on an app that is basically you have more chances on basically the lottery than on Tinder. Let me just run a stat.
Hang on, I don't. Hang on, that's a bit of an exaggeration, would you say?
Let me just say this: the stat is the Gini coefficient, that is the inequality coefficient of Tinder, is on percentages of likes, is 0.58. This is more unequal than almost all other economic models of world national economies. It's worse than South Africa, meaning that the people who do good do really, really good. The people who do bad, they do extraordinarily bad, meaning they don't get anything. Most men on dating apps don't get nothing. They get less than nothing. They waste their money and time.
So I think the issue there, though, and the reason why I don't think it's applicable towards like something like the lottery, is that it's sort of, it is implying the idea that the men who are failing on dating apps, again, outside of like the actual predatory like pay for play stuff, but even if we go back to like when I was on it, what bugs me about the whole argument about it's like, oh well, most men don't do well, is the idea that um, that the reasons they're not doing well is out of their control for the most part, which I don't
Well,
believe to be the case. So, for example, if we're talking about the lottery, I go and buy a ticket, and 100 other people buy tickets, and obviously you pick the numbers, but everyone sort of has a similar chance. Obviously, you could buy more tickets, but that's not, yeah. But the point is that for every ticket, there's an equitable chance. Whereas when it comes
yeah,
to like dating apps, so this is something that I ran into, and this is something that I almost sort of like kind of agreed with this red pill point or this sort of idea until I actually, for me, I started to have success, and that was because of I started to be very mindful of my profile, of my pictures, things like that. And once I
yes,
did, it astronomically changed the game for me.
yeah.
So the issue
It can,
there, it's almost like saying a good comparison is like saying, you know, the vast majority of guys who go to the gym don't see results. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying, like, I'm just using this as an example. So, like, let's
yes,
say it said, like, I pulled 100 guys. They all went to the gym for an hour a day, and they saw no results, no muscle gain. And then what I would
yeah,
ask them is, like, okay, well, what did they do at the gym? And it's like, well, they walked on the treadmill for an hour. It's like, well,
oh,
okay, hang on. That's it, because that's an issue there. It's like, yes, you're
yeah,
going to the gym, but if you're not doing the right things if you're not putting your effort into doing the things you need to do in order to reach your goals, then of course you're
yes,
not going to see the results you want. And that is
yes,
sort of
yeah,
the issue I have with the sort of characterization of Tinder or other dating apps, um, being sort of framed as this like, well, the vast majority of the guys don't see results. It's like, well,
no,
that isn't
well,
necessarily because it's like the deck is rigged against them, again, outside of like the pay for play stuff.
yeah,
That also could be, it's like, well, what does your profile look like, what do your pictures look like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
yes, obviously, but this is a two factor problem. The problem is basically even before Tinder, most men are unattractive. I mean, the average weight of the American citizen is like, I don't know, like 180 pounds, and the average wages for, I think, men is like $40,000 a year, and the average height on the U.S. I think is 5.8 or 5.9. I'm not sure. So yeah, most men are not attractive to begin with. That was a problem. The problem is that I don't know if you noticed or you heard about the effect that the globalization it destroys local markets. Basically, if there was a local dating scene, let's just say in I don't know uh, uh, Alabama, for example, Alabama had their own dating scene. Is that with Tinder, Instagram, and all the apps, you basically globalize the market, and now every cute girl in Alabama can get in touch with men outside of Alabama, and they can fly them out, and they can see people from other states, and they can go see them, and but the local men in Alabama actually are kind of like left out of this kind of dynamic because they don't have either the money or the physical attractiveness to actually attract more the females that are around them. So it's kind of like a hollowing out of the what is used to be a very social and personal process that was dating. I mean, before everything, dating was mostly just a social circle thing, meaning
Well,
that
hang on.
your
So
your
let's,
friend introduced you to another friend, and then that friend hooked you up with a friend.
okay, so let's, because we have to kind of discuss that. So that's sort of like the fresh and fit view of things, where it's like the idea that before girls weren't exposed to, their dating pool was just the guys in their area. So they had to just
Oh,
pick from
oh,
whoever was in their area. But now
that
the
was true.
issue is this. But now the issue is that, well, it's like because of Instagram and stuff, women can get in contact with people all over the world, and particularly, high status men who can fly them
Yeah.
out and do
No,
that.
or come to their city, the quarterback, the team is about to play a game. Hey, you want to go? And
Yeah. So
that's it.
so the issue with
And
this is that it's almost completely bullshit. Um, So like the whole
Okay.
this was sort of like, I know you mentioned in our chat you don't like Destiny, but when he was
Yeah.
on Fresh and Fit and he asked, the Fresh and Fit dudes like what percentage of like young women do you think are being flown out by like millionaires or like these like top tier guys? And I think Fresh said something. Fit didn't answer because I think he knew it was a bad it would sound stupid, but Fresh said like 30-40%, which is like I
I don't agree with the
yeah, but no,
stat
I'm
of that
saying, but
percents. I'm just saying that this is something that it's happening. It didn't used to happen,
yeah,
so
but this is
it's a
making
new
like
phenomenon.
yeah, but this is making like a minuscule effect on
No,
any sort of dating issue. So like when
well,
you look
no,
at
no.
women,
It
when you
it
look at
actually
women, Raphael, one
it's
sec,
not a.
Raphael, Raph, hang on a second.
Okay.
I need to be able to make a point, and then you
Yeah, you
can,
could
yeah,
finish the point in that guy.
yeah. Um, it's like minuscule. The idea that women are like not dating the men in their area, that's the whole point of these dating apps, is that you can meet people in your area. Now, are there some cases where it's like, hey, a guy from Washington messaged me and we got talking and there was a connection there and then we ended up meeting up and flying out? Yeah, that's that
Yeah,
happens, and I think that's cool. I think that's awesome that people who would have never met in like in their social circle, they have a wider net. I think that's a cool thing.
I,
But one,
okay.
the vast
I
majority
think
of women are still they still date men locally. Like it's not like right now it's like on average people are dating people from all over the world. Like that's not a regular thing. Most people date people who are at least
yeah,
somewhat local to them. And then two, the idea that even if that does happen sometimes, the idea that that's taking chances away from local men to some significant degree just doesn't seem to have any sort of that doesn't seem to be backed up by anything.
I
Unless you have like a Fresh and Fit view where it's like 30% of college girls are being flown out to Dubai by like millionaires, which is just
no,
a fantasy cope.
uh, no, it's not. It's not about that. It's not about the exact percentage of females that have been extracted from the local dating scenes. It's most like this is a trend. So it is not one of the practices that Tinder encourages. It is many. It is one of many, basically. Let's just say that this is 5%. But the
No,
problem
I
is
would no, hang on. I wouldn't hang
well,
on just real quick
uh,
before. I
but
wouldn't
even if
even.
you,
We're talking
yeah,
like
you like 1%. Let's just say
not even
one
one. I would
percent.
like half a
Well,
percent. That
even half a percent.
yeah.
That half a percent is half a percent less, and the problem is that half a percent less affects all other. Meaning, if this happens, there is a trend. Let's just say, even if it's a small one, it's likely to make ripples around the local scene. So you can see that, for example, even though something is very small, like for example, being successful in Hollywood, it is astronomically small. It is like you have very little chances of making it into Hollywood. But you can see that there is a economic effect of people moving to California, to Hollywood to make it in the LA scene, and there is like a, a bunch of people, like hundreds of thousands of people, wasting their time and their efforts trying to make it into a system that it is really small. So you can see that this is a similar thing to the dating, meaning not every woman is going to try to do this or maybe capable of doing it, but they're certainly looking for it, or it is an effect that is still there. So it's basically just another of the wrinkles that the
Yeah.
the online experiences it provides. I think that you're
Yeah.
confusing. I don't have a problem with people meeting other people from other states and entering into good relationships and maybe marrying or becoming long-term boyfriend and girlfriend, and then you're happy and then you cross state lines every time you got to see your in-laws. That's not my main issue. I think that's normal and that's good, and people did that before. I think the problem is when you get rock stars, uh, basketball players, football players that are basically just farming women. They're like they have a lot of money and they can fly it out a woman from each town each weekend, and they are circling around the country having like 100 or 200, and this happens. Rock stars are
Wait,
or football players are notorious for doing this. They go
but
to a town and they will have multiple affairs with different women, and then
wait,
those
hang on,
women are
Raphael, hang on.
basically
Raphael, we're
being
getting,
side.
yeah, we're
They're
getting
just
lost.
becoming
Yeah,
side chicks, basically.
we're getting lost in the weeds again, because the whole point I'm trying to point out is that I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but the idea that this is happening at such a rate that it's depleting the options of men in a local given area is like, it's just nonsense. Like, the reason that like guys like Fresh and Fit think that is because they live in these very niche communities, like in Miami, where they are friends with men where this happens, and they see, oh, I have a basketball friend who flew out like 10 women and banged them all. Sure, but
Yes.
the idea that those 10, like, it's not like those 10 women were like just sitting in Alabama, like an Alabama town, saying like, I want to settle down with a nice Alabama boy, and I found a guy, but actually this basketball player hit me up and flew me out to Miami, and now I'm doing that. The idea that that's having, again, it happens, but what I'm concerned with, yeah, but that's getting struck by lightning happens. But I'm saying it's the idea that this is having any sort of sizable, even outside of any sort of like even like fractal minuscule effect on the success of other men in the country in general just does not seem to be. If you want to make that claim, Raf, one second, brother. Sorry. Okay. If you want to make that claim, you have to provide some sort of statistics on it. But it seems like right now it's like saying it happens is like, yeah.
I'm gonna give you the statistic about it. I have the website right now, and it says the bottom 80% of men in terms of attractiveness are competing for the bottom 22% of women, while the top 78% of women are competing for the top 20% of men in Tinder.
But where are we getting that statistic?
Yeah, I can send you the link. I have it right here.
But from what?
Yes, I can. You can, if you can copy the link or show it, you can open it in your Twitter, and it's you get the Tinder economy. I can send you the link right now.
You can just shoot me the link, but this is
here, and this is based on the own Tinder data that they collected. It's not something that they grabbed simply for.
Okay, so the issue.
So you can get this.
So yeah, I can't put it on screen, but it's a very common statistic, often put out there by Red Pill.
You can put the Tinder stats, and you can see it, and it's basically replicable with all other dating apps, because also dating apps are inundated by men, like ridiculous, like 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio. So it's also kind of inundated by men. So here you can have that Tinder. Tinder is less equal than South Africa, a little bit more equal than Venezuela, in how attractive guys use Tinder to farm women, like I said before, and most men don't get nothing, like literally nothing.
But hang on. Bubble. But hang on. So this is the issue. Like, one, this has nothing to do with the whole flying people out, because that's just.
Oh, it does.
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Hang on. It doesn't. It doesn't. Hang on. 1 second. Raph, come on, bro. It doesn't, because the fact that like. It doesn't make it easier for the better looking dudes in a certain area to get girls in the area. Yes. Is it easier? But the idea of like, but that's still the same issue. That's the same issue with like sort of like the small in the town or in a certain area. What your original argument was is that there are dudes in Florida or Miami or like across the globe that are hitting up girls and flying them out. That's not in any given, when we're talking about like Tinder or OkCupid or any of these dating apps, when we're talking about sort of like the dating economy, most people, 99.9% of people, are looking and are going to look and are going to find partners within their general area. Now, to the point about the 80-20 statistic, the issue here is that, well, one, you point out already, these apps are overpopulated by men compared to women. I think it's like 75 to 25%, maybe even 80 to 20, something like that.
Probably, yeah.
But then the other issue is that, to your point, and I think you mentioned it earlier, is that the majority of these men probably aren't going to be attracted to women regardless of being on the app or in person.
Yeah, that's true. But
so
I would like to complement that like I said before, the guys, let's just say the flown out girls, that's just a small subsection. I grant you that it's
like
really
not even
small,
like a minuscule.
But it's minuscule, but it exists. That's a problem. It exists.
No, I don't. No, it doesn't. That does not. Hang on. Hang on. When we're saying
it does happen, you said that it's minuscule, but it does exist.
But again, like getting struck by lightning exists. Getting bit by a shark exists. When we're talking about like what are the issues for men in terms of dating and like their success on. No. This is
a problem.
Okay, hang on. Let me put it like Raph, brother. Come on, brother. You gotta just
Let me just make the point.
I'm trying to respond to your point. Just 1 second, please. The idea that this is if we were to list like 100 reasons why like men are failing on Tinder or the difficulties they're facing, this would be like number 99, if not 100. Would you agree on that?
No.
Okay,
I would say it is. Maybe 60, maybe 70, something like that.
The point I'm making is like it's not even like worth talking about in terms of what is actually causing men to struggle.
I do think that is worth talking about because even though the effect is small, it's still there. I mean,
it's minuscule, 0.01%.
No, but you don't understand the full phenomenon. The full phenomenon is not just a girl getting flown out to a place. It's actually the guy coming to the town and changing the Tinder profile to the new address and picking up and farming the local girls and having relationships with them. Not relationships, one night stands.
Okay,
and
so
then
hang on.
After that, live in the town.
Okay, so hang on. So let's ignore the flying people out because, again, I think that's a completely ridiculous point. What you're talking about is that in a given area, so let's say the town of, I live in Chicago, let's just use Chicago. In the town of Chicago, the top 20% of guys are getting the majority of the women in that area.
That's true.
Okay, so, but the issue there is that it's like when people put it, this isn't an issue with like Tinder or OkCupid or like dating apps really. It would be an issue regardless, right? If I were to go to like a club or a bar, obviously the Chads are like the tall or like really good looking dudes who are really confident and have like game. Those dudes are probably going to pick up chicks there as opposed to the dudes who are just like fat or short and just sitting in the corner, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But like I say, this is an issue that is preceded by Tinder, meaning that this always happened. For example, Axl Rose, he was famous for each tour that Guns N' Roses did. He had like a orgy after each concert.
Hang on. Raphael, we're going back to like this point of like, but if a rock star comes and fucks a bunch of... But the point is that like, if we're talking about like groupies or women who are going to be open to this, that is a very specific... It's not as if like there's like a little church girl living in like a little Idaho town and she's like, I want to find a nice boy to date, and then fucking, I don't know, Green Day comes and then she's like, oh, the drummer and he's special and I fucked him. Like, that's not going to happen. Groupies are groupies. Oh, no. If a woman's like...
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You haven't heard about Elvis? Yeah, Elvis is kind of dead and old, but he started that trend of going throughout the country and...
Yeah, but he would schmooze on like 14, 15-year-old girls because he was like weird like that. Like if you look at all the reports of the girls he got with, they were like very, very young. But even in those cases, the idea that... But even in those cases, the idea that one, Elvis was a rock star doing that is going to, in any even minuscule way, affect the chances of all the other guys in that name. It's not as if like again, the main issue is that the better looking dudes in that area are getting more. The girls are all going after those guys, whereas the other 80% of dudes, we keep going back to like Axl Rose or like these like unbelievably fringe cases. I'm trying to stick
Yes.
with like what is like the actual major issues.
Well, the major relatable issue is that uh, people are not marrying, people are not having relationships, virginity is on the rise, and women's unhappiness is also on the rise because it turns out that these apps, like I said before, they're just a magnifying glass. For example, they're
Yeah, I
just
agree.
propping up something that is was already there, the hypergamous
Yeah,
nature,
I
hypergamy. So the apps is only a facilitator of something that was previously controlled by distance, by society, by now. But in the internet, in the global connected market of dating, you get this even more unequal, even more uh, barren landscape where people are not getting what they want. If you think that the good thing for people is to get fulfilling relationships, if you want hookup culture, well, you got it. And
well, hang
hookup
on. I
culture
don't.
is only good for a couple of men,
Yeah,
not
but
for
again,
most men.
but again, if we're talking specifically about the apps, like I agree with you. I think that a lot of the shit that people put on the apps are just the issues with the dating landscape in general. I don't really think the apps
No,
in any.
but it's like pouring gasoline into a fire.
I don't. I don't.
Only
I don't agree with that. I
well,
don't.
it
Wait, how?
exacerbated.
But how?
But exactly, like I said, the technology allows people to connect with everyone, so it basically destroyed the local dating scenes of most towns or most cities,
Well, no, I
and
don't.
it mostly destroyed the personal view of relationships, meaning that you have to meet somebody or somebody has to introduce you to somebody else, and then you have to connect and you have mutual friends, and then you develop like a first date, a relationship, and a personal connection. Like I said,
Well, hang on,
this
Raphael. So let's
turn
just
did
yeah, let's just go one at a time. So
yeah.
again, you keep kind of like you keep sort of like going in a different direction, and the
No, no,
vast
no.
majority of
It's the same. It's the same direction.
no, because in the majority of the cases, the people who are on Tinder or on Bumble or OkCupid, they're already in the same area. They're not. It's not like they're going to like a different dating pool. It like the way you keep framing it is if like, well, now they can meet people in Dubai or they can meet people in Florida
Yeah,
or Washington.
they actually can if the people in
But
Dubai just change their address
yeah,
and
but
use a VPN.
what we're talking about is that we already established that is like 0.01%
Yeah,
of the
that's
pool.
0.01%. That's what's just one of the issues that the dating apps brings.
Yeah,
It
like
also brings the
as
issue
you
that like I said,
as you
somebody
put it,
can come
like
into town and
yeah, but
change their
again,
address.
but
And
that's just someone coming into town and like hooking up with a girl while he's there. Again, that's not like changing the general landscape for most dating in a certain area. The whole 2080 thing. We're getting away from the deeper point. The deeper point
uh,
is
the,
that, to your point, I agree. It seems like when we're talking about, say, the dating landscape in Chicago, it seems like there is a smaller percentage of guys who are the most attractive to women, and all those women are kind of competing for those guys, whereas the bottom 8% are kind of left out in the cold because they aren't able to attract those women. You would agree with that?
yes. Yes, and the dating
Okay.
apps make it so much worse because this is one of the red pill points that I do agree on. You have to become better. You have to go out. You have to socialize. You need to get in better shape to get a good job, to have a good hygiene. You have to be basically just better. But the problem is that the apps make you worse. They purposely just keep you in your phone scrolling. Have you ever heard of the term doom scrolling? I mean,
Yes.
Tinder is
But
easily one of those, but just for dating. You doom scroll, and then you keep getting the cheap dopamine hits instead of actually, getting out, talking to a woman, a real woman, engaging her, uh, getting a conversation, showing a skill, or doing something productive. It just keeps you locked in your room, looking at pictures of strangers,
but
and
that's
maybe you get a chat with them, but that's not conducive to a good relationship or even to something. Even it gets
so
nowhere.
so there's two things there that I don't think, but these aren't like causal. So the what you're talking about isn't necessarily an issue with Tinder or Bumble. That just seems like social media in general. Not even social media in general. Just a dude not being sociable. Like if you took that guy who's like overweight and doesn't have any goals and doesn't have any skills, he's not going to have any better luck going to a bar because he probably doesn't have the balls to go up and even talk to a woman. Or if he did, he doesn't know how to converse. He's awkward. He doesn't know how to dress. It's not going to make when we're talking about like, oh, it's making it worse. I don't really see that. Again, I think it's a reflection of the current dating issue, which is that in most cases, these 80% of dudes aren't able to. So like this is the other thing when it comes to the whole like hypergamy thing. It's not so much, and this is where I think the red pill completely gets it wrong. It's not so much that the women are always going after the top 20% of men, and they like no matter what. What it seems to be is that it's almost like in terms of the economy how the upper class and the lower class and the middle class is sort of like disappearing, where it's just the lower class and the higher class. For most guys, what seems to be happening is like it's not that the guys who are getting most of the girls are like these like super giga chads making six figures. Because I was in the pickup community myself. Some of the guys like who were like very good with women, they weren't like these spectacularly good looking or incredibly. I got laid the most when I was 20 pounds overweight and working at Jimmy John's. The issue is that there is a huge gap between dudes who are willing to put in the work of, I'm going to go out to the bar, I'm going to hit on like 10 chicks, I'm going to up my social skills, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to get better dressed, yada, yada, yada. And then there are the dudes who do none of that, who just sit at home, don't work out, don't go anywhere, don't try to make connections with women. And it's on one hand, it is, they are to blame because there are many of these men who are not making active steps to improve themselves. However, I also agree that there are issues in terms of us just being less sociable as we used to. Hence why loneliness has been going up for men and women.
Yes, I will agree with that. It's pointed out by Rollo Tomasi on the Rational Mayo, who says the average frustrated chum, basically. Overweight, doesn't want to work in his social skills, doesn't have a good job, doesn't go to the gym, doesn't do good hygiene or anything. Yeah. And this is basically a subsequence. Since dating is basically an economy, you get the Matthew effect, basically. Those who have more, even more will be given, and those who have less, even the few things that they have shall be taken away from them. So that's how we're seeing this in the economic and the all other realms. But in dating is also tending to be true. Those who have more will get more, and those who have less will have even less.
But the difference there is, to kind of go back to the lottery example, the difference there is probably the primary reason the guys who are getting less isn't because of hypergamy, isn't because of dudes flying women out to Dubai. It's because, in general, they do not meet the minimum threshold to be attractive to the general woman.
Oh, it's a combination of both. It's both.
No, I completely reject that.
You might not agree with, but hypergamy is real. I mean, women always select the best men that they can. They have to by biological standards.
But this doesn't. Not only is this not. But when we're talking about like even the 80-20 rule, it's not saying that like the 20%. Oh, I like those guys over the 80% because the guys in the 20% are better than the guys in the 80%. It is, in most cases, the vast majority of cases, because most of the guys in the 80% are so below the threshold. Because it's not like, it's not like a woman is like she's at a bar and she's looking at two guys who are like, both are cute, both dress well, and it's like, oh, well, this guy is 6'1" and this guy is 6 foot. I'm gonna go with I'm biologically predisposed to go to the 6'1" guy. It's no, if I'm at a bar and I see a dude who's 5'10", it looks like he can dress himself, he talks well, he's a good conversationalist, he seems cool and chill and confident. And then there's another dude sitting in the corner, he's 40 pounds overweight, he has no goals, he doesn't know how to converse, he's awkward and creepy. Of course the woman is going to be more attracted to the first guy. But that's not a matter of like that's not a matter of like hypergamy. That's just a matter of she has certain thresholds for what she wants attractive, and then she looks to the guy who meets those, as opposed to the guy who is not able to meet those.
You made my argument for me, just choosing the better man.
But it's not. it's not that she's
That's
choosing the better
hypergamy.
man. It's the other guy has completely disqualified himself at it's because again, the
which
point I was
which
making about
means that he's worse than the other guy.
but the point but out of his own control, correct? There seems to be this idea that like women will always gravitate towards the quote unquote top tier guy in a given environment. So like for example,
They do, and they will. You
well,
can see it in the anthropological record. You have
well no, this
twice
doesn't
as many. You have twice as many female ancestors as male ancestors.
no, but that is completely different from what we're talking about. We're talking about then that we're talking about like people in like
no, it's the
wait, hang on,
it's the
Raphael,
fact
Raphael, hang on one second, brother. The reason that doesn't apply is because if we're looking in the past, we're talking about like hardcore survival situations. We're talking about kings who took people into harems. Like these aren't equitable to like a girl selecting dudes at a bar. The point I was making is that
but
when we're talking about
the principle still stands.
no,
Only
it doesn't because if that was
only the good men reproduce. Only.
but it's not because the women are always looking over the other guys. It's because those guys don't meet a base. Here's a good way to put it.
You're making my point for me. Women have a standard.
Hang on.
That standard is the best guy. The best guy that she can get.
That's completely. This is why guys.
All
this
the
is where,
other all the other guys are scum or basically non-human.
No, because that doesn't make any sense. Because in that case, here's a question. I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years. Do you think that she finds guys who are in general better looking than me do you think she interacts with guys who are better looking than me at times?
Yeah, she might.
Okay, so why didn't she break up with me and just try and get that guy?
Because, like I said, the woman selects the best man that she can get. Not the best man that exists everywhere at all times. So that she's going to irrationally drop a good relationship for anything.
But why not?
Some women, some women will, but not everyone, because people are, like I said, scarce mentality. They prefer to keep to what they have than to risk something to get something that could be better.
But if my girlfriend goes to her job and there's like a Chad there who's like, me and him have basically the same features, but he's like 3 inches taller than me. He's like 6'1", 6'2", and he shows interest in her and he wants to fuck her. He wants to date her. Why wouldn't she leave? Do you think a woman in that situation would always be primed to leave their current boyfriend and go for that guy?
I mean, it depends on the character of. You have to remember that even though we're biological, we also have some qualities of reason. So she might or might not do that. It depends on her.
On her character, exactly. So that's why a lot of this.
It somewhat depends on her character, but you would be a little bit, let's just say, too naive to think that the temptation is not there.
But the temptation's there for literally everyone, for dudes, for chicks, for everyone.
Yeah,
but if that
doesn't make it less true. Then women find better men to be attractive, and that's just a fact that you just made for me, that some women qualify. Even if you get qualifications, then you can move into a relationship status. So obviously, once you have a girlfriend and it's a relationship status, then there are other factors at play, like attachment and like psychology of their.
But why would she get into a relationship with me when I was dating her? There were probably other dudes who were quote unquote better than me that she probably could have pursued. Why would she settle down with me at that time?
Because you were at that time the better option for her. She thought that you were the best, or either she wouldn't have accepted you. She would have rejected you. I think that if you ask your girlfriend, she probably has rejected a ton of dudes, like hundreds, like probably hundreds. Ever since I don't know your age, but that's you the amount of dates that women or propositions, let's just say, that they get hundreds, even thousands throughout their lifetime. So they're more likely to reject a lot of men. So they obviously just end up with the best men that they can. So this is a debate within the red pill community. Some say that it's monkey branching theory, meaning that women trade a good partner for even better partner, but others say
which
There
isn't
is a dual mating
substantiated by
structure.
anything.
Well, but it's maybe sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
it depends.
but sometimes guys cheat on their really nice girlfriends for some bitch at the bar.
No, no. I'm talking about hypergamy on women. Men have a totally different sexual strategy. It's different because it depends on the investment that they got from the man. So
Yeah, but that
risking
seems to be
the
the same to
investment.
me. If I
No, no, no.
went
It's not the.
if I went to the bar right now and some like girl who is like objectively better looking than my girlfriend like was very interested in me and like wanted to fuck me or wanted to date me, why wouldn't I break up with my girlfriend?
It depends on what you want to do.
Exactly. And it would be the same. So
No, no,
again,
no.
it's
If
we're not going by like
I'm
sexual strategy, we're just going by, hey, I'm in a
no, no, no.
relationship
It's
with someone. I
no,
don't
but
want to ruin that because I care about the person. And that seems to be the
if we
same with men and women.
no, if we are in a established relationship, then you have to take into account people's ethics and morals and higher values. But when we're talking about dating apps, we're talking about people on their most animalistic, most primal, most basic sexual strategy. Basically, it is, at least for women, to get the better men that they can and try to lock him down, obviously,
But
and
that's
for
the
men to get
same.
with as many women as they can. And that's one of the other points that I want to clarify to you. Men and women are not the same. They
But
do
hang
not
on.
act the same on dating markets
But
on
that
or
doesn't.
the dating apps.
But that doesn't make any sense because then why would dudes settle down with any chick?
Good?
If a dude
Because
goes on a dating app and he's just trying to fuck as many women as possible, why would he go on a date with a girl, go on like 3 or 4 dates with her, and then have them become boyfriend girlfriend?
simple, because it is a security investment.
Yeah, but you just said that with the male sexual strategy should be to fuck as many women as possible. Why is he
Yeah, I
settling
mean
down with one girl?
that's a basic strategy, meaning that every man has the capacity or well the inclination to do that. Not every man can do that, on though. So only a handful of either successful or charming or really good-looking men are able to do that. Most
To
men
to
are
to
content
find a
with
girlfriend?
no, to have multiple or to have sequin or to have side chicks or whatever. Most men are conform with monogamy because that's the best they can get, and they will just say, well, this is good enough. So they will not risk becoming sexless trying to cheat on their current girlfriend. Most men won't do
Do
that
you
because it doesn't make any sense.
do you think if the majority of men who are in relationships with their girlfriend right now suddenly had like maybe they became famous or maybe they became rich, suddenly had the chance to go out and fuck as many like 100 women just throw themselves at them all of a sudden for whatever reason, do you think the majority of those men would then abandon their monogamous relationship?
Yes, I do
Okay.
think that for the majority of men, they are either not religious enough or they don't have the morals or the rationality to say that that's not a good decision. I think that your people are often more selfish and more animalistic than they like to admit. And I think that most men are going to cheat. And I think that the stats bear that out.
But doesn't that
Cheating.
but doesn't that if we're going back to the whole thing about men being unattractive, doesn't that sort of you're kind of framing it as if most dudes are like complete even dudes who like aren't Chad, most dudes are like complete pig losers who aren't really looking for a relationship, or they're only looking for a
No,
relationship to just try and settle down so they can fuck, not because they actually like the girl for any other like deeper reason, but just because she's the best chance they have of getting laid consistently.
yes, basically, I would say that most men are driven by their sexual impulses to
Okay.
reproduce. So
Okay.
yes,
So in that
I,
case,
that's
but in that case,
that's true for chat and for the bottom dwellers. That's true for every man. Every man wants to reproduce, and then if they develop a relationship or they get married, that's secondary to reproducing.
yeah, but there's plenty of dudes who get in relationships and get married and have sex who don't have kids.
But that doesn't invalidate the point that that's the original design. That that's the blueprint that every man works from. Every man needs to work from the blueprint of being hypersexual and hyper excited and always prone to having sex and even to date multiple or have as many partners as possible. Every man
So
has that wiring. That even comes to the biology because men produce an absurd amount of, let's just say, gametes. Let's just say the sexual capacity of man. It's like 100-fold, meaning that if you get a man to do whatever he wants, you get Genghis Khan. You get like 100, 1,000. How many you can think of?
do you
He
think? But
can.
do you think most?
Yeah.
So I when I was like going like doing my Tinder dating, my body count right now is about like 50 something. I had been with my girlfriend for 6 years. It seemed like during that time, it's not because the reason I stopped, sleeping around wasn't because um I all of a sudden it got to a point where I probably still could have gone out and gotten laid more. So why would I settle down with my girlfriend?
Yes. So the settling down, it becomes apparent once you take into account that this strategy of sleeping with other women is highly expensive, meaning that it can only be sustained during a certain period of time. Probably when you're young, probably when if you're successful.
Yeah, but I settled down
If
with her
you,
when I was 26. I wasn't even close to being out of my prime. I probably could have kept
oh,
doing that for like 15 years, right?
yeah, that's true.
So
But
why did I
at the
why did
same
I
time,
stop and settle down with my girlfriend?
yes, because that sexual strategy, like I said, it is the blueprint that every man works from. But eventually, even you can see this with the most players, you get settled down with a main, with a,
But but why do they do that?
yeah, because it makes sense if you're going to invest in her or if you're going to have children to actually ensure that your children are your own and that you actually get to pass
But I thought
some
you
of your
said
knowledge.
but I thought you said that if my drive is to just reproduce, then wouldn't it make sense to fuck as many women as possible in a short amount of time as possible and have as many kids as possible?
Yes, that would make sense.
So why are dudes who have the capability of doing that? Why would they ever like? Why am I selling down with my girlfriend right now, and when I could just go out and fuck 50 more chicks?
Because, like I said, this is just one step of this strategy. This is like step number one. Get with as many women as you can and have as many children as you can if you're capable by your resources. But eventually, you are going to have to choose a main partner just because of the needs, the personal needs, the trust, the social relationships. You're going to have to settle down with
Okay,
at least one woman, a main woman, a
okay,
queen, let's just say. So if you can actually see this in, for example, Islam. You
okay.
can
Hang on,
get
one second,
a
one second, one second,
wife.
one second. Hang on. I don't want to go into like you kind of go off on tangents, but just to your point, what you just said right there, I completely agree, and I think that your view of like most men is like really, I don't want to say like misandrist, but I think it has a very like low. Like, the majority of men that I met in the pickup community, the biggest surprise that I got wasn't that I expected to just all these dudes are just gonna want to go out and just fuck like as many women as they can, just go to the clubs and fuck bitches, yada yada yada. And the biggest surprise that I found is the vast majority of the men that I encountered in that space didn't have that mindset. Their mindset was, look, I'm looking for something deeper than that. I just don't want to fuck a bunch of like 50. Obviously, some dudes did. I was one of those
Yeah,
dudes.
obviously.
Some of those dudes, but most of the dudes I ran into were like, I want something more substantial. I want to find a girl I like that I can maybe start a relationship with, maybe eventually marry, fall in love with, have kids, yada yada yada. However, the reason they got into the pickup community is because it was the only avenue they could take in order to get basically what the way they put it was, I want
Yeah,
these socials. It's not that I
you
want to
get
go
that.
out and fuck 50 chicks. It's that I want to have enough social skills and enough confidence so when I meet a girl that I like and might want to date her, I don't fuck it up because I'm awkward or cringy as fuck. It seems
Yeah,
like
to
your
get your
view,
to get your good foot in the door. To
yeah,
get a
it seems
chance
like
actually.
the way you're talking about men, it's like all this like very cold, calculated like nature and stuff without taking into account like what most people desire in terms of happiness, relationships, trust, some deeper form of fulfillment. I understand and this is like why if we go back to you mentioned before the whole dual mating strategy thing that Rollo pushed, which to be clear was completely disproven even by the guy who presented the theory. he even presented it that like it was a hypothesis, and then even the creator was like,
yeah, he wasn't sure. It's obviously just a hypothesis, so it was never a theory. It was never confirmed by the data. But it even if the theory itself is not ironclad, it's a hypothesis that you can use to see some relationships. For example, you can see examples of that. For example, the Kardashians, like the wife left the guy for the Olympic, and then that got even complicated. But you can see that. Or
wait, how is that? I don't. Wait, hang on. How is that? That's not the dual mating strategy.
That's not dual mating. That's monkey branching. That's
okay. Yeah, but we're talking about. Hang on. We were talking about dual mating strategy, which is that's specifically what we're talking about. As for monkey branching,
dual mating is also something that happened. You saw it with Princess Diana, I think.
Wait, what about Princess Diana?
Well, the dual mating strategy.
Can you elaborate on that?
She married a boring guy with a lot of status and money, and she had children from another guy who was not as maybe not as much. He didn't have the same status, but he was better looking and was.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Let's just say a chat.
I'm sorry. Hang on. What? Are we talking Princess Diana? The Princess Diana. We're talking about her.
Princess Diana of England. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. She married.
She married the now King of England, I think.
Okay. Yes. And then she had 2 children with him, Prince William and Harry.
One of those is not his. You didn't know that? You didn't know that the youngest one is not his? I mean, he has the name, but you can see that she had a father.
You're making something up. Okay. Oh my God.
I thought
I'm sorry. I thought I was completely missing something. You're just making up a cuck fantasy. Oh my God.
I
thought there was like a huge.
You can see it.
I thought there was like. I thought my complete understanding of her entire history was wrong. Oh my God.
They got divorced later.
Yeah, they got divorced later after she gave birth to her 2 kids, and after he was cheating on her openly with a mistress, and then she eventually left him. How is that monkey branching?
Because, like I said, no, that's not monkey branching. She never got
how is that dual mating strategy? Sorry.
Because one of the kids is not his.
There's no way. What? What? You can't just make things up. What?
No, I'm not making that up. She had a friend that it's basically the mirror image of the second file. It's
do you have any evidence for this?
Yes. Let me just find Diana.
No, I'm saying like evidence, not just like, hey, they look alike. I'm saying like, do you have actual evidence of this? Do you hang on a second?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, the formal love interest, James Hewitt. Yeah, you can see it. She had a 5-year affair with James Hewitt during her marriage with Prince Charles.
Hang on. She had an affair with him after. When did the affair start?
I can see it. You can see it in people.com, and it's.
No, hang on. When did the affair start between those two?
Yes, James Hewitt and Princess Diana had a romantic relationship that would make the global headlines. Let me just get that. His father was an Olympic athlete. Was a cavalry officer of the British Army.
Here's my understanding of.
Yes,
Diana's history.
Let me just get this. He met Princess Diana at a party in 1986. And in a 2011 interview, he revealed that they had a relationship. I got into my car and loaded a few things and wanted to see, as you say, and then my mother insisted me to go to the party.
And Prince Harry was born in 1984.
Second?
Sorry?
Second child?
Yeah, Prince Harry, the younger.
That Hewitt, not Prince Charles, is actually Prince Harry's father. I've been aware that has been an issue about the paternity, and it's been a major talking point, he said. But he supposedly was born, and no, he was born in 1984, and he said that he didn't meet Diana until 1986.
So how could Harry be his child?
Well, he said that it didn't have an affair before, but he did
So you're
publish a book
saying
about that affair.
So you're saying he's lying about when he met Diana?
Yes, I'm lying. I would be inclined to say that he would lie about when he met Diana.
Okay, so this is my understanding of Princess Diana's history, and then you can give me yours. Princess Diana married a king, had 2 children.
Yeah.
She was not happy in that relationship. It's been well documented as to why. She gave multiple interviews after as to like what the issues. There's multiple films and books and stories on it. He started openly cheating on her, with Camilla, whatever her name was. She was incredibly unsatisfied.
The now queen consort, Camilla.
Yeah. She was, and so he cheated on her. She was unsatisfied with this arrangement that she was stuck in, and then she eventually slept with this other man, had an affair with someone who appreciated her. Again, this doesn't even make any sense to Domingue's strategy, because he's the how is James Hewitt? How could you ever say that he is higher status than the would-be king of England?
I mean, do you see the pictures?
I
mean, the head James Hewitt is. You can see the pictures back then, and that's the problem that people don't understand about the hypergamy. Hypergamy doesn't refer exactly to money or to just status. But he was
the potential. We're not even talking about like a dude who's like 5'9" compared to 6 foot. We're talking about James Hewitt. Who was he? What was his thing? He was a military officer.
He was a military officer, polo player.
Compared to the king potential, wouldn't like if we're talking about a hypergamy, how could that not outweigh anything that James Hewitt would have, even if this wasn't a ridiculous conspiracy theory?
Well, it's just about the physical aspect. To be honest, with all due respect to the king of England right now, he's a dork. I mean, you can see it from the pictures.
Wait, but he was banging. But how does it even make any sense? Because he was banging a woman on the side.
Oh, he could bang a woman on the side.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he had status, but that doesn't mean that in that particular instance that the other guy wasn't more attractive than him.
But what are the things that made him more attractive to Diana? Was it the fact that maybe he actually like respected her and didn't cheat on her?
No, I don't know. I don't know if he cheated on her or not, but you can see it just from the physical standpoint.
The king of England.
He's more attractive.
The king of England, he did cheat on her. That's Camilla. This is openly documented.
No, but the fact of him cheating on her has nothing to do with the fact that she could cheat on him. That doesn't.
But there's no evidence that she cheated on him.
I mean, there is evidence that she had previous relationships, and it was a troubled marriage from the start.
Yeah, because he cheated on her.
You can. Yeah, but you can see that it wasn't just a one-time thing, and it wasn't just a one-sided thing. It's not like she was eternally faithful, and then she just was the poor little princess that just got cheated on constantly. She also had unfair partners.
That was, and then she decided this is bullshit, and then she left him, and that's why the entire that's why she became the star of the nation, because she wasn't just a victim. She said, "You're cheating on me. Fuck you." And it doesn't even make any sense if we go again back to the whole idea of like this like fresh and fit idea of like a woman will be fine being a side chick or like a high status dude fucking other women as long as he still gets her attention. Diana did the exact opposite. She said, "I'm your wife. You're not respecting me. I'm leaving." That is like that's part of the reason I love Princess Diana. I think she's an incredible figure, particularly because she had to.
I don't agree with that.
Why?
No, I don't agree with that. The fact that she left the now King of England because she wouldn't take that. that he was cheating on her, or maybe the marriage was unsuccessful, and that's why he was cheating on her. We'll never know the truth. She's dead, and he won't speak about it. But the fact that she did that, it doesn't disprove the fact that, like I said, it's more likely that women tolerate infidelity.
But she
Sexually,
didn't.
that's
She
something that
went
has been
against.
studied.
She went
No, but
against
she's an
the.
example.
She risked.
Not.
She risked and. But then why did you bring her up? She risked the hatred of an entire nation in order to retain her dignity and her self-respect for herself, and that's why. Luckily, people saw that and loved her for it. But
I bring her up because she's an example of hypergamy.
But no, it's not hypergamy. That makes no sense.
No, well,
if it was hypergamy,
no, she was hypergamous.
Hang on. Do you think
she married she married the next king of England? She's definitely hypergamous.
And then she left him for some military officer. You can't simultaneously say she's hypergamous because she married the king, like the soon-to-be king of England, but then also say it's dual mating strategy because the king of England was actually the beta, and this other random military officer dude was actually the alpha. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
here's a question.
That's a dual mating strategy. You get a guy that has money and strategy, but is beta, and then you get an alpha that can actually satisfy, or that has better personality, or is better looking, like James Hewitt definitely was. He was better looking.
Here's a question.
See the pictures, and then you have both guys, or you try to get both guys, and then maybe you dump the other guy, and you still get the title and the money, and now you go and have other partners. That's the dual mating strategy.
But
basically,
she didn't.
Like
she risked the. She didn't know that the people were going to love her. She risked the ire of an entire nation to leave him.
Even if she
here's a question. Here's a question.
She still got the title. She still got the recognition and the money.
Rafael, so here's a question for you. Let's say that Diana was dating Hewitt first. Let's say like he met him at a party, they were dating, and then Charles, the potential king of England, comes up to her. Do you think that she would have left James for him?
I mean, like I said, this is what people don't understand about hypergamy.
I don't think people who talk about hypergamy understand hypergamy because they always throw on these you're comparing. On one hand, you're saying she's hypergamous because she hitched her wagon to the potential king of England, but then you're saying she's also hypergamous because she eventually left him for basically a nobody. You can't. If you're gonna
but no, that's within hypergamy because she once was okay with this guy because of his status. But then she realized that maybe status wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, and
or maybe marrying a dude who cheats on you isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, but he got the status, so he got that status, bought him an opportunity, and then he couldn't make that opportunity, so she decided she was good.
Here's a question: Do you think
a different guy?
Do you think Diana went into her marriage with Charles, like with this like sort of like in the back of her mind, like I can't wait in like 5 or 6 years, I'm gonna eventually leave him, this beta, but I get the status, and now I have all the status and money, and now I can just go and fuck a bunch of chads? Do you think that she went into a relationship with that mindset?
I don't know if she did that consciously or unconsciously. I'm not a mind reader, but I do think that it's quite odd that after a divorce, she had a bunch of affairs that were very, very public. I mean, she wasn't that loyal either.
If my girlfriend cheated on me and I broke up with her and then I went out on a bunch of dates, why is that weird? What's weird with that?
Oh, for you, it wouldn't be that weird.
Why is it weird for her? Why is it weird that she was married to a man who treated her terribly and cheated on her, and then she went out with men who treated her respectfully and were nice to her, and she enjoyed spending time together with them?
Because it makes fairly obvious that the relationship wasn't that meaningful to her.
Well, or maybe it was, but then after he started openly cheating on her with another woman.
I don't know, though. Even if you get most women, I hope that you don't think that most women are tit for tat on cheating.
What do you mean?
I mean, I do think that men are more likely to cheat than women because men and women are not the same. And I do think that women are not cheating at the same rate as men. And they don't do that tit for tat. Meaning that even if they get cheated on, most women are not capable or willing to cheat on their partner, even if they are getting cheated on.
But isn't that saying? But aren't you just supporting my point to saying that like Charles was an asshole for cheating on his wife, and so Diana was right to leave him?
No, no, no. I'm not supporting that point. I'm saying that most women are not inclined to cheat on their long-term partner, even if they're being cheated on, and that's
Yeah, but she didn't
reasonable.
cheat on him.
That
She left him.
we we think that she might not have cheated on him, but she, well, let's just say it wasn't a good proper relationship, a good marriage to say the least. So
Yeah, because he cheated
if
on her.
for some no,
That's why it was a bad
even if she
marriage.
cheated, no, even if she cheated on, even if he cheated on her, that wouldn't explain the fact that she got like 7 different affairs after they got divorced.
Why?
So she continuously dated different
Why?
men.
She
So
married a
she
dude.
wasn't monogamous.
She married a dude.
She wasn't monogamous.
She wanted to be monogamous.
honestly.
He cheated on her. They divorced.
I don't know.
And then
That's,
she
that's
and then
not
she
how
played.
it happens.
And then she played the field a
People
little bit.
don't. No, that's not.
If
how
I
it
broke
works.
up with my, if my girlfriend cheated on me and I went back into dating
you're
sphere,
a
I
man.
probably, I probably wouldn't. I mean, no, even if I was a woman, if a woman is in a relationship with a man and then he for like a couple of years and then he cheats on her and she goes back into the dating pool, not only would it be completely reasonable for her to not just settle down with the first person she meets, to kind of date around a bit, but in fact, it would make sense that she would be more hesitant about settling down because the last guy she decided to settle down with cheated on her. So, of course, in that case, she's going to be more choosy.
Thank you for making the argument against promiscuity for me.
What?
Yes, that's true. If she gets with a guy who's not good, who's promiscuous, and she gets harmed or let's just say emotionally scarred by that, then she's less likely to enter into a different committed relationship.
But that's because he cheated on her.
I don't know. That's one of the factors, but you have to take into account that people are also responsible for their own decisions. Meaning that even if even if he cheats on her, that's not an opening door to go away with monogamy. That's not an open invitation to that.
How do you know she wouldn't have eventually settled down with someone else after? I mean, she died
because she didn't. I mean,
well, she didn't because she died in a car accident.
No, but she died like decades after the divorce.
They divorced in 1996 and she died in August of 1997. What are you talking about? It was like a year later.
Well, a year later, but she already had a bunch of affairs under her belt.
Yeah, good for her. She was single.
No,
she was
that's
playing
not,
the field. She was
not,
having fun playing the field a little bit, and then maybe she would have found a dude to be like, oh, "Okay, you seem like a cool dude. Let's settle down."
I think that the tabloids are pretty explicit, and the record is pretty obvious that she had affair partners even before the divorce. I mean, the divorce was materialized much later than the actual breakdown.
Yeah, after she found out her husband was cheating on her.
Yes, but even if he was cheating on, even if she was being cheated on, that didn't open the door for him or her to cheat. This is back to the point that men and women are not the same.
No, bullshit. I completely disagree with that. The idea that like if I'm married to a woman and I found out she's cheating on me, and then I have to wait until the divorce is finalized before I can go out and see another woman. Otherwise, I'm also cheating on her. I think no. When we're talking about cheating, we're not.
That's true. That's true.
No. When we're talking about cheat, because that doesn't make any sense. If me and my girlfriend are in a relationship, and she cheats on me, she's cheating on me. When I'm talking about someone cheating on someone, I'm talking about the person who is initiating that breakage of trust. As far as I'm viewing this relationship, as soon as Charles cheated on his wife Diana, the relationship was null and void.
You think
that their personal
game.
relationship. Yes, they were legally still married, but their personal relationship was null and void. I don't consider her fucking a dude after finding out their husband fucked a woman. I don't consider that cheating.
That's cheating.
No, it's not. Or even,
No,
but
no, no.
then,
That's no. He cheated and she cheated. Both cheated, but
but he
there's
cheated,
cheating all the
but
way.
he cheated first.
It doesn't matter if she. It doesn't matter who if he cheated first. It's still cheating when you have a committed relationship and you decided to have an outside partner, even
Which,
if that main partner is a cheater in and of himself. That doesn't make the point. For example, if she wouldn't have cheated on him, she could have said just, no, I never cheated on him. So I never had another relationship. I waited until our divorce and the complete breakdown of our relationship to start another
but why should she
monogamous
wait?
relationship
But
with
why
another
should
man.
she have to wait until the divorce when the relationship was already broken down in light of the fact that he cheated on her?
Uh, why should he? Well, basically compromise. Basically, just simple
Here's
logic
a
that
here's a
people
question.
that,
Here's a
that's a
question.
simple men and women are not the same. Basically,
Here's
she
a
would have
question.
saved a
If
lot of her reputation if she wouldn't have involved herself with a lot of potential affair
she's
partners.
the most beloved woman in perhaps British history, what are you talking about?
No, I think you I think you're
Have you
very
ever
janky
heard
in
someone
this.
say outside
That
of like stupid like Mansford dudes? I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything. She's like a goddess. She's like a revered
no,
figure.
no, she's not like a revered figure as much as the Americans want to portray her as, at least in her home country.
No, I think she is because after she left
Oh,
Charles, she became like a superstar. In fact, that isn't part of the reason why. I mean, like again, I mean, if you're gonna present the conspiracy theory, those who present the conspiracy theory that Diana was actually murdered, the entire reason was because she literally won the hearts of the country over the royal family. That was what made her so amazing. Is that by stepping
no,
away, she, again, to go back to what we were talking about, she risked everything in order to retain her dignity. She could have left Charles and she could have been tarred and feathered. The entire country could have fucking hated her. But instead,
no. I
they
think
respected
large.
her. They
No,
respected the
I
dignity
think
that she showed, and then she went on to do unbelievable things with AIDS fund, with the AIDS patients, with the removal of man lines, with the Red Cross. Like,
I'm not discussing whatever the let's just say her personal achievements were. I'm just talking about the relationship status and
yeah,
the
I
fact
don't.
that yeah, but the you're taking into account something that is completely different. It's a media phenomenon. It's not just based on the relationship itself. It's also the downward spiral of the royal family and the popularity. It has, but that's another issue for another day. That doesn't have to do with the fact that
A
even
25
if she
years. A poll was taken among British citizens 25 years after her death. Favorability of Princess Diana, it was higher than King Charles, Prince Edward, Camilla, Prince Harry, Meghan, Prince Andrew. She was
oh, but Megan, everyone
even
has
higher
told that
than
Megan.
even higher than the institution of the monarchy in general. That is how much,
Yeah, but
and
no, but
that's what
that's
the royal family feared, is that she was going to be more popular than them, and she was.
yeah.
She still is.
Even if she was or is more popular than the royal family, that wouldn't make any difference about the fact that their marriage was a disaster and that
Yeah,
none of
because her
them
husband
is or
cheated on
it
her.
says
That's I agree.
yeah, but she became a whore after that, so that doesn't track. That doesn't matter. Yeah,
Okay,
she yeah you can look
I
you
just
can
want to
look
make
at the
sure.
record.
I just want to make sure we gives.
She had a bunch of partners even after and before the divorce. So
Wait, she
that's
fucked how
basically
many?
just
Did
how.
you say?
I mean, at least according to tolerant people, there are at least like 6 or 7 dudes
Do
in
you
there.
think that's a high
People,
whorish? Do you think it's a whorish body count for a woman?
uh, yes, and mostly, and if you were supposed to be married to a royal, yes,
Well,
at
yeah,
least
because but then he cheated on her. She didn't fuck anyone while she was married to him.
even if well, even if he cheated on her her getting a bunch of partners after that is not good.
Six or seven? Again, but I'm asking. So, what in your view is like a whorish body count for a woman? Like, here's a better question: what would like an unacceptable body count be for you for a woman to have her that she would be disqualified for a relationship with you?
Oh, depends. obviously, I would think maybe within the average
which is
that
6 or 7.
would no that for women it's less than 6 or 7. That is the male average.
No, it's the
6.
same for women.
That that for women I think it's less.
It's not.
Yes.
A survey of people
just,
from the U.S., UK, and Europe found women had a lifetime average of 7 sexual partners. Men had an average of 8 sexual partners, so it's a little bit higher for men.
Oh well, it's a little bit higher for men. But yes, I would say that maybe half the average or less than half the average, probably 2 or 3, or yeah.
Okay. Do you think
you're talking about considering for a long-term relationship?
Yeah, for you
obviously
personally.
the ideal is the idea for me personally, the ideal would be 0. That would be the best, but I can recognize that people can have like 1 or 2 and still be capable of having a long-term relationship.
How would you respond to the idea? So you said 2 or 3. How would you respond to the idea that statistics show that marriage rates for women who have had sex with, I think, like 5 to 9 partners, the divorce rates for those women in marriages is actually lower than women who have had 2 to 3 partners?
I'd say that's a lie.
Okay.
Because I just got the opposite statistic. This was on the Valuetainment podcast, Adam Sosnick. It was Michael Sartain who got the study that says that the average for women who didn't cheat in a relationship or who had successful marriages is 3.8, and for women that did cheat or had a fall in the marriage was 7.8.
Well, hang on. We're talking about averages. I'm talking about like individual women. The issue with what you're talking about is that the number of women who were either virgins or had one partner before marriage is drastically lower. I think like the percentage of women who were virgins, the percentage of women who were, but what I'm talking, but you said,
that's true.
But you said specifically that you would want to date a woman who is 2 to 3 body count, or that would be your maximum.
That would be the upper limit, yeah.
Yeah, but
because according to the stats, even.
But marrying a woman with a 2 or 3 body count is statistically more risky for divorce than if you were to marry a woman with a 7 or 8 body count.
I don't know where you're getting. I gave you my source. I don't know where you're getting your source.
No, because but what I'm trying to break down is the source is aggregating all of them. If you're talking about like I want a woman who's a virgin, that's fine. I think that's the
best deal that you can get in order to get a long-term relationship.
But the argument
that these are virgin and both of them are religious. That's the most likely to never get divorced.
But the argument that red pill dudes make is that the more sexual partners women have, it corrupts her, or the higher rate of divorce. But that's not true.
Yeah, that's true.
Up.
That's true.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, hang on.
We're
gonna have to debunk this right now. It goes up. So I think like for 0, it's about 5%. For one partner prior to marriage, which is usually the men she ends up marrying, is about 15%. At 2 partners, it goes up to about 30%, and then 3 to 5 partners, it goes down to 25%. And then from 6 to 7, it goes to 27, 28%. 9 partners, I think it's another 29%. Still lower. I could post.
Where are you getting your?
I could post to you the study, but this is the irony. This is a study that it only gets higher than 2. The divorce rate only increases after 2 partners, after a woman has slept with 10 or more men. And even in those cases, the statistical, it's a 3% difference. I think it's the divorce rate for women who have had 2 sexual partners before marriage is 30. The divorce rate on average for women who have had 10 or more on average is 33. So it's not this red pill idea that if we exclude, I'm hearing virgins or women who have only had one sexual partner, the divorce rate is roughly the same regardless of her sexual account. It's the virgins that take it down.
Because you're making my argument for me, virgins have the best
Yeah, but
great.
I'm
I mean, in the
but I'm
less
saying but I'm saying
because
if
having
you
zero sexual partners is the best.
okay, hang on. But I'm okay, but if that's the thing, if like I would want a virgin, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that if you would take a partner who has slept with 2 or 3 men over a partner who has slept with 7 or 8 men, statistically your odds of getting
I
divorced are
actually
higher.
no, I actually copied a link in the chat if you can find it. I don't know if you are going to see the clip or not, but actually just put it as dissertation. You have it. You mentioned a bunch of statistics. You never said a name or a date for this study.
I mean,
I don't know if you
I can
making
look
this.
up
I mean, look it
marriage.
up or maybe
No,
find.
I can
And
look it up. But the
you
thing
can
is that
say
this is
according to MAC 2020, this study performed, and I would like to just check that out because that's counterintuitive to anything that I have read about the science of pair bonding and attachment.
here it is. Here it is.
That
The institute.
contradicts every psychological.
Yes, but no, but
It's
it only
contradicts every
applies.
psychological.
No, it doesn't. It only applies after the average has gone up like over 10 partners. Here it is. The counterintuitive trends and link between premarital sex and marital stability. Women with 10 or more partners were the most likely to divorce. But and here's another interesting thing this study found. That only became true in recent years. Like 20 or 30 years ago, women who had higher body counts had lower statistical divorce rates than women who had like 2 or 3 partners. Women with 3 to 9 partners were less.
Wait.
Yes.
You're telling me that people in the past not only could accrue higher body counts, is that they could get married, and even if when they got married, their marriages were more likely to not end up in divorce.
Yes. The study.
I want to see that study. I
Okay,
want to. I want to read that. I want
Okay,
to send me a link because I want to. I want to read that study.
It's the Institute for Family Studies. They did a case study of 4,000 couples in the 1990s. The divorce rate for one partner was 26%. For 2 partners, it was 13%, so half. And then it stayed roughly the same until 10 plus partners, it was 10%, which is lower than 2 partners and 1 partner and even virgins. That was in the 1990s. Today, it's a little bit different. But the point stands.
Yeah,
it only goes up. If you're talking about women who have had like 30 or 40 bodies, yeah, probably on average. But if we're comparing women who have like 2 to 3 bodies or women who have like 7 to 8, the studies show that the 7 to 8, the divorce rate's actually less. Or in general, it's up until about 10 partners, it's negligible. It's rough. Aside, if we leave virgins out of it, it's going to be roughly the same. It's about 25 to 30%.
Yeah, but why would you leave virgins out of it?
Because I think they make up like 0.3% of the entire population. And 2, are you a virgin yourself? What's your body count?
No, not a virgin.
Okay, so the vast majority of women who are staying virgins for religious reasons aren't going to be interested in you. So it's like you're taking a population of like 0.3% of women and then cutting the legs off of that. This is another big issue when I'm talking about like when we're talking about like red pill or fresh and fit. It's the idea that a dude can like spend his 20s and 30s fucking countless club bitches and living a debaucherous lifestyle, and then at age like 35 can find some like innocent church virgin girl, a church girl, and settle down with her is the most like red pill cope thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Most men on average end up settling down with women who have roughly equitable amounts of sexual partners. Promiscuous men end up with promiscuous men. Non-promiscuous men end up with non-promiscuous men.
Well, promiscuous men do end
Sorry,
up with
men and
promiscuous
women.
men, but that's true. That's actually that's true either way. That's true either way. That's true.
Yeah.
Promiscuous
So
people.
This whole idea,
for example, the Adam 22 with the what was the name of the girl?
Well, hang on. No, that's a bad. Hang on. Those are both professional porn stars. That's a terrible example. I'm talking about just like general people.
But
people
who better to marry a professional? Who better prefer to bed?
Because that's like because we're talking about like
a star than another porn star.
Because we're talking about like a 0.001% case. But in general, across the population, most men end up settling down with women who have equitable levels of promiscuity. The idea that like all these high value men who have fucked like 100 women find like virgin trad wives is like a red pill cope. Hence why when you look at all these podcasts and you see all these like high value men, none of them have relationships. None of them are dating virgins. They're fucking club bitches.
Okay, that's one avenue that you can take then.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is that all this like red pill obsession with like, here's a better way to put it.
No, let's just say I have a fairly high body count. You can whatever. But if you're asking what's the preferred state for example, the man is always going to desire the partner, female, to have less bodies than him. And
but if you're a man,
probably zero.
But if you're a man who
Probably
also
zero.
is not, but if you're a man who is also not a virgin, and it doesn't take your face seriously in the way that most of those women do, the odds of you actually settling down with a virgin woman are astronomically low.
I mean, if I wouldn't be so sure,
no,
because you're conflating morality with attraction, and that's one of the things that I want to clarify. That's one of the points where the tradcons cannot actually manage to hold water, is that what attracts women to men is not the same thing that attracts men to women.
Okay,
for example,
but here's the thing:
men
Raphael,
can be
hang on.
attracted. Men. Let me just finish my.
No. Hang on, Raphael. I have to go. I have to go soon. I know what you're gonna say. That because women are different, that virgin women will be more attracted to a dude who has 100 body count. That is statistically that doesn't happen. Most women who are virgins end up marrying.
I'm not saying that they might end up marrying other
overwhelmingly 99%
virgins,
of the time.
But that doesn't mean that they're not attractive to even non-virgin men.
No, it does. If a woman stays a virgin because a woman stays a virgin because of her faith, because it's something, her purity means something to her, the idea that she would ever be attracted to a dude who has a body count of 30 or 40 is ridiculous. She would never settle down with that guy. She's going to look for a man who also has similar views in terms of their purity, in terms of religion, in terms of their morality.
No. You probably are not familiar with female psychology, and you probably haven't read the most.
I probably fucked like 10 times more women than you have. What are you talking about?
We're not discussing body count here, but let's just. Remember the.
But if that was
hang on, romance novel.
Hang on, I have
dark romance novel with the 50 Shades of Grey.
No, oh my God.
The best-selling novel.
No, we can go. Hang on,
one of the best-selling novels of the.
No, not the 50 Shades of Grey argument. I have to go. We can have another discussion where we can talk about 50 Shades of Grey. But this is a terrible
50 Shades
argument.
Of Grey is a high body count guy actually pick him, an innocent girl, and she managing to settle him down, to actually calm him down and actually make him a family man.
And how many
dark fantasy novels.
Yeah, it's a dark. Yeah, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy.
But it's the best. It's the best-selling female fantasy literature of female fantasy ever.
But you have to demonstrate that actually means something in the grand scheme of. Here's a question. That is a fantasy.
But it actually means something. It means that women do not care about men's body count the same way that men care about women's body count.
What percentage?
Do not think about it the same.
What percentage? What are the odds? What are the odds that would happen in real life? That like a
I don't
Christian.
care.
No, it is important because if we're giving guys practical advice,
but it's not.
Because if we're giving guys practical advice on how to succeed in dating, just saying, well, in 50 Shades of Grey, it says that if you become a huge publishing magnate, you can find a little virgin girl who will indulge in all your S&M fantasies. That's cap. That's ridiculous.
You can actually, if you become successful, you increase your options with women. That means
not virgin women.
You can actually get very attractive to virgin women. Virgin women are still women.
What percentage? What are the odds that like a guy who like one of these like high value men on like Fresh and Fit? What are the odds do you think a guy like Myron could settle down with like a virgin woman?
I think he could actually pull that off.
But I'm saying, what are the odds? If we're looking at the pool of women, yes.
Oh, if you find the pool of women, you're not thinking about this the right way. It's not that he has a body count. It's that what can he provide?
But the vast
So he has
majority of
money,
women
he
who are
has status.
virgins, even if he can provide in other ways, they're going to look at that body count and lose interest in him because he
No, no, no.
clearly
The
is not
women,
the type.
women.
He is
No, no,
clearly
no.
not the type of
Women.
traditional religious man that woman is looking for. Most
You're
women who
again.
remain virgins due
No,
to
no, 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 no.
religion, or hang on, Raviel, one second. Most women who remain virgins due to religious or traditional views are going to want those same. Do you think like a virgin church girl is going to be like, "Daddy, I brought home the sweetest boy," and like in walks Andrew Tate, who has spent the last 20 years fucking club bitches? Do you think that happens like ever?
No, I don't think that usually happens. Meaning that
It's
that's super hyper.
astronomically, maybe even never.
No,
Most of
no,
these
but
women are
it's
going to
more
marry other
common.
virgin
It's
men.
more no, no, no. It's more common than the opposite, and it's more
But
common simply because women are
but
not looking at men's body counts.
point
No,
zero
women
zero
don't.
zero
For
zero one
example,
percent is
I don't,
more common than
I don't want to
point zero
be.
zero 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 one percent.
I don't
Oh
want to
my god.
be intrusive, but if you said you have a 50 body count, what's your girlfriend's body count?
I don't
You
know.
don't mind
Probably
me
like
asking.
I think like 10 or 12.
So it's like 4 times as less.
Yeah, but the difference is that she's not a virgin. If she remained a virgin, she probably wouldn't have been interested in me because the reason she was a virgin was because of certain traditional and religious views, which in the vast majority, if not almost every single case, they are going to want the same in a partner. If a woman remains a
No,
virgin
no, no, no,
for
no, 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 no,
religious
no, no.
reasons, she is not going
That's
to find a man
completely
who has 1,000 body count attractive because that man, even though he probably
no.
is masculine, even though
What?
he could probably can provide,
No, no, no. What
doesn't
makes
have
him?
similar religious and traditional views, so that is not a man that she's going to settle down with.
No, I will revert your argument very easily. Simply, the fact that he can get 1,000 body count means that he's very attractive,
Not
and
to
that
virgin
if
women.
he's very
All the women
attractive,
he's fucking
no,
are club
if
bitches.
no, no,
That's
no,
the
no,
point.
no. Even if no, no, no. Even if he gets 1,000 body count, that wouldn't mean that he just fucked a bunch of club hoes. That would also include less promiscuous women that also found him attractive. And you're conflating attraction with morality, meaning people can morale about what they could or should be attracted to, but biology trumps that, meaning that if the guy is tall, if the guy is attractive, if he's successful, he could simply convert to Christianity, repent his sins, and marry her tomorrow. Because at least Christianity offers immediate, well, not immediate, but repentance of sin. So you can get the guy, and it still would be lawful.
Except
Only
in
Christianity, because
99.99999 I can't even think of an example.
I
But
don't know,
I'll.
I don't know where you're getting these stats, but you can get, like I
Oh my
said,
god.
you're conflating men and women. Men and women are not the same. Women are attracted to successful men.
I
If
have
the man has a body count, she is willing to tolerate that.
not if she's
The opposite is not true.
not if she's a virgin. If you were looking for a virgin woman, in the vast majority of cases, you're not going to find one, or two, she's also going to want a man.
I need to see the. No, the virgin women do not think about the virginity of the partners the same way that virgin men think
Yes,
about
they do
the
because
virginity of the.
in most cases, virgin women are doing so because most women, if they're virgins, they're usually virgins by choice. So in the vast majority of these cases, if it's religious or traditional reasons, she is going to end up marrying or settling down with another man in her area who also shares the same traditional or religious views. The idea that a little 18-year-old church girl who's a virgin is really sweet and wants to settle down
Even if you find that
is ever gonna look at a guy like Andrew Tate and decide to settle down with him is
no,
astronomically almost unfeasible.
Even if you find the idea ridiculous, that
it
is
is
just an argument for personal
statistically it doesn't
incredulity.
happen.
No, I keep using the phrase statistically. To use that phrase statistically, you actually have to provide a statistic. I just cannot say statistically this happens without actually backing it up with a stat. You think that is unfeasible, but that doesn't mean that it's actually unfeasible. I would say that due to human nature and due to the difference between men and women, that you could get a virgin woman to marry a non-virgin man, and I think that you can actually see that that's more prevalent than people would like to admit. Women have less body counts than men, so most women are already selecting men that have higher body counts than them. So it wouldn't factor in that a married for marriage.
We're not talking about all women.
We're
We're talking about virgin women. We're not
Yeah,
talking
but
about
you're
all women.
presupposing that you're presupposing that virgin women are not attractive to the same type of men that non-virgin women are.
They might
And I
be,
will
even if
argue, even if they
I
might
might be
be, but
attracted. I might be attracted to her porn star. I'm not going to settle down with her because she's a porn star,
yeah, because
right?
you're a man.
So
Because you're a man. And
a
she's
virgin woman might be attracted to Andrew Tate, but she's not going to settle down
no,
with him.
yeah, yes, but you have to understand that men and women are not the same. So
Okay.
she actually can choose to settle down with a high body count man
And
if
plenty
she
of
wants
men
to, and she's
and plenty
capable.
of men marry women who have higher body count, women with higher body counts. But that's not the average. On average, across
No,
the board,
that's not the average.
yes, it is. People roughly
Across the
end up
board,
settling down with people who have roughly
people
the
who have
same.
obviously, the men always have to have higher body count. That's
No.
the average. The average is the man has higher body count and the woman has a lower body count. But it's true that it's not that astronomical difference that you can see. That's an offshoot, but it's still possible. It's really likely because the man who has higher body count obviously is attractive and has high status. So a religious woman can just, if she falls in love with him or she falls in love with her, he can actually marry.
Raphael, I gotta go.
That's not true.
All I have to say is like saying something is possible when if we're talking like 0.001%, if we're talking to like
No, I don't know. I don't know where you're getting 0.1%,
we can
but
next
it's
time
actually more likely than you thought. You can search that virgin
a quarter
body count
percent
doesn't matter.
a half a percent is more
Body count is
likely
not
than a
the
quarter
same.
percent. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
body count. For example,
next time we
the
talk,
opposite case is even less unlikely. For example, that the man who's a virgin marrying a porn star, that's even less likely.
but they're both like not even in the realm of like 0.1%, not even. The next time we talk, how about this? Next time we talk, I'll bring statistics, okay?
Yeah, and I would like to get some real statistics next time because I think you're trying to argue from personal incredulity, something that it's not borne out by the facts. I think
okay.
You
don't
understand when women and men are not the same.
Okay, next time we'll talk, we'll talk about this topic about like virgin men, women. Let's bring statistics next time we talk. Bring statistics, we'll go over them. Sound good?
Yes, I think that's good.
All right, cool. I gotta go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm so sorry we got sidetracked with the Princess Diana thing, but it was actually very interesting. I have to go. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.